Right. Perfect. YouTube is live as well.
Okay.
You managed to sign in there.
Okay, I think we need to put the participation because he asked me. There is a little bit of delay.
Oh, yeah. Great. Right, welcome everybody. We're just dealing with the YouTube issues, the latest a little bit. We've got a few people joining. Right, perfect. So how is everybody? It's been a while since we've done one of these Instagram lives, and this is a bit of a different format to normal. We wanted to give you a bit of an update of what's been happening at our end. There's been quite a lot to update you on, but also just a very informal question and answer session as well. I hope you're joining us, of course, with a Lanzarote wine. I'm Ollie, by the way. This is Alessandra. Alessandra is maybe new to some of you. Maybe give a little bit of your background. Alessandra's been with us for 5 months now. Hard to believe the time has gone so quick. And it's been going really well.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Alessandra. I'm Italian. And I've been living in Lanzarote for 3 years now, but I've been working with wine. When I just come here and I was working at El Grifo, and then I was working in a restaurant as a sommelier, and then since I became a mom, I ended up working with Ollie, which is actually good fun.
It was a little bit unexpected as well, wasn't it? Because you called and asked whether there was any work going, and at the time it was like, well, let's have a coffee.
And
and we sort of created a job, and it's fast forwarded things, but it's actually worked out really well. And Ali's joined us predominantly to work on the
wine shop.
Ali knows way more about wine than I do. So it shows a commitment to our wine shop and selection of wines, which we do anticipate growing in the in the weeks and months ahead. So please shout with any questions. Interrupt us. We've managed to log in, so we're watching ourselves on Ali's phone. So hopefully we can see any questions arrive. Can be about anything. Can be about Lanzarote wine, the products, and anything you like.
Someone say, "Give me all the Bermejo."
Well, that's the Bermejo. There isn't too much left in the in the wine shop at the moment. We are preparing a shipment of the Bermejo wines for the last quarter of the year. There'll be more on the way.
How's the harvest going this year? Okay, this is one of the topics we were about to touch. So the 2025 harvest is pretty interesting because I had a chat yesterday with Jorge, the president of the Consejo Regulador, and also the winemaker and owner of our brand new Bodega Olivina, as a new entry in the wine shop portfolio. And this evening we're having a glass to join you of his amazing rosé wine, and it's 100% Listan Negro based. So basically, this vintage is a bit, this harvest is a bit problematic. is considered as being one of the lowest in the historical record. The lowest so far was the 2016 vintage, which ended up with only 700,000 kilos of grape picked. This year it's going to be slightly lower. And this is mainly due to poor budding of the vines, which is due to climate change. Basically, even if we are on an island like Lanzarote, where winter basically doesn't exist, every year we are experiencing warmer autumns and winters, which basically result in, when we have to prune the vine, the vine after that is not basically budding, and after 1 month or 2 months, when they eventually bud, they do it irregularly. So basically this means that this year we can have up to 3 different harvest stages on the same plant, which means that the grapes that ripen on time can be harvested, but those that will ripen later basically cannot be picked because they will end up developing powdery mildew, and because the growers cannot apply treatments once the grapes are formed on the plant. And in some cases, if we have some heat waves or similar weather events, the grapes dehydrate on the plant. But there are good news also, because it's true that it's a very problematic year, but in terms of quality is actually looking better than last year. So what is turning out well is turning out really well. So the grapes look good. They are larger in size compared to last year. Also, there is a good leaf surface, a higher leaf surface, which means that the grapes are less exposed to sunshine and they have less risk of sunburn. And apparently the wines produced from the 2025 vintage will be more aromatic and more expressive as well.
So plenty to look forward to.
Yes.
Well, not plenty in terms of quantity,
but in terms of quality, apparently it's going to be a good vintage for what is possible.
Yeah. And Jorge's wines are the newest on the shop. Jorge started producing, his first vintage was last year. I went up very early this year. In fact, I've been up a couple of times. Sinead joined me the last time, and tasted the 3 wines at the time that Jorge was producing, and I was blown away with the rosé in particular. I thought it was something as well that was missing from the shop, this style of wine. And within 5 minutes, I'd agreed to send a few boxes across to Belfast, and also the red as well, which is a really beautiful wine for the summer months in particular. It's light, it's fresh, fruity. So one of our jobs, we feel at the moment, is trying to convey the messages and the wines from these new wineries. Everybody knows the El Grifos, the Bermejos, Vega de Yucos, and the like, but also there's plenty of new small producers on Lanzarote, all doing different things, which is great. It's making the wine scene on the island really, really exciting and interesting. And yeah, we do encourage you to shop around. They're all wines that we love. We've tried to categorize them on the website with different headings, so you have an idea what to expect. But do contact us and ask us any questions or suggestions. We're also looking at plenty of new things all the time. One of the big stories, I guess, we've got two big stories. One is that we've taken on the Bernardo's products. We've got nearly 20 products from Bernardo's. They're very famous here for the mojo sauces and the cactus jams, the cactus liqueur. They're really innovative and bringing out new products, such as the London dry gin here, which is delicious, and the cactus gin. I was in Ireland last year doing tastings there, and they both went down a treat with the customers there. So gave us some confidence to take it to the UK. So we have as well wahoo, which is similar to tuna, line caught in La Gomera, and you will also find that on the shop under the gourmet product section. It's really delicious as well.
If you want to have some more information about that, we also wrote a blog with all the story behind this project, which is quite amazing. And please give it a go because it's delicious. It's very delicious.
Yeah. And then the new products, we're always looking for something new. Has anybody seen, probably not because this is literally brand new, but tasted a quinado? This is made by Davide Muschi. Maybe some of you joined our live towards the end of last year, but this is his latest new creation. And it's basically a vermouth, but using red wine. And in Lanzarote's case, of course, it's Listan Negro. We both tried it last week for the first time and were completely blown away. So we are hoping to send that back on the next shipment. We'll have to speak to Davide Nice because there's only 1,000 bottles.
Yeah. And for those who are wondering how it might taste like, first thought I had when we tasted last week was it tastes like port. So if you are fan of the port wine, it is very similar, even if the production technique doesn't have anything to do with port at all, but it might remind you.
Absolutely. No, it was crazy, wasn't it? It was the first, and amazing to think that there was sort of no oak used and no age or anything like that in the process.
Compared to the white and red vermouth that we currently have in the shop, this is more, which can be had as an aperitif or together with cocktails. This is more like I found it more like a dessert kind of wine, or of course after dinner.
Yeah, definitely one for maybe more the winter months or something as a treat at night.
It's not as fresh as the white and red vermouth. There is another question about small producer, if we have any favorite at the moment.
Wow.
This is not a fair question.
You're going to get us into trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
What I would say is that they're all favourites, sitting on the fence. All of the wineries that are on the books are all wines that we love, all in a different style as well. So all with a different story behind them. You will find, I believe, blogs about the smaller wineries on our website if you want to know more. But
I'm willing to write more about
as well. So. Ask Ali. You might be busy tomorrow.
Yeah.
So no, it is something that we do hope to expand. If we're honest, it is a struggle. The wines, in many cases, what should we say, lower intervention to natural style wines. I think it's fair to say, not as well known in terms of style, but then also from the winemaking end, a lot more cost going into it as well.
So we end up with a higher price as well on the shop.
Of course. So it's probably not at the top of people's list, but we do really encourage people to try them, especially if you like tasting different wines. And if you do have questions, or you're scared to commit or don't want to, well, you can ask us now.
to answer.
Yeah, we have our message system on the web shop, or you can drop us a message as well. Yeah, an email. So the other big story is the postage.
Do you want to answer this question first? Can you talk a bit about the native grape varieties? I mainly know Malvasia.
Okay,
Do you want me to answer, or you want to?
You can.
Up to you.
Go for it.
Okay. So of course, everyone knows that here in Lanzarote, the main grape variety is Malvasia volcanica. But for instance, I'm a big fan of another grape that is called Vijariego, but is known here in Lanzarote as Diego. is not as famous as the Malvasia, but it produces wines that, let's say, they are less aromatic compared to Malvasia, but they tend to show their best once the wine age in bottle. So it has a very sharp acidity. I'm a big fan of very high acidities, so that's why I mostly love Diego, but I think it has a lot of potential in terms of winemaking. So it's a good discovery if you never taste Rioja Diego before. Then we have Listan Blanco, which was actually in the past one of the main grape variety that was cultivated on the island, but its production was mostly destined to the production of aguardiente, a grape spirit that we use to fortify actually the wine that were produced in Tenerife rather than here in Lanzarote. So eventually it has been replaced by Malvasia volcanica, but we still have some Listan Blanco that in Lanzarote is mostly used to produce blend rather than varietal wines.
Yeah.
Then we have the Moscatel, the Muscat of Alexandria, which is an aromatic grape that is mostly famous all around the Mediterranean area. And it's mostly used for the production of sweet wines, but actually is also used for some dry wines. One interesting new entry, now that we're talking about the Moscatel, is the orange wine of El Grifo.
Yeah.
There is a dry wine made with Moscatel. I will also write a blog about orange wines for those who don't know what orange wines are. Of course, I'm not made with oranges because I just mentioned in this case it's made with Moscatel. And I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something. Yeah, these were the white grapes, and then we mostly have Listan Negro on the about the black grapes, which is the main and most important all around the Canary Island actually. But also there are different black grapes that are not that widely planted, but one of those is Syrah. And then other types of grapes, which mostly are used in blends, but not that important here on the island.
Yeah, there's a couple of Syrah wines, isn't there? Yeah. And then there's blends using the likes of Tintia
exactly.
and Merlot, but a very, very small percentage.
Quantity, yeah. Actually, as we're talking about El Grifo, unfortunately, we don't have that one in the wine shop. Who knows, maybe in the future. They produce 100% Syrah-based wine. Actually, they were the first winery introducing Syrah on the island, and they produce an amazing red wine called Reserva de Familia, which is oak aged. But most of the times they blend it together with the Listan Negro to give more body, complexity, and the ability to age. And Stratos as well is producing 100% Syrah based.
Yeah, but it's one of those where it always starts conversations, especially on the wine tours, about whether Lanzarote should be going towards grape varieties that aren't native.
Nah, I think that each place should stick with their own local, and
that's what's most important to Lanzarote.
Yeah.
But we are in an age now where there is more experimentation and differentiation, which is good to see. I was going to mention just before about the European and actually UK and Ireland postage, because before we had a bit of a complicated system where if you bought wine and then you wanted to buy a jam, for instance, you had to pay 2 lots of shipping. We've converted that thanks to Sven at MediaFish, our web guru. And now it's all amalgamated. So what that's meant for the UK and Ireland is that you could buy 2 or 3 bottles of wine and then add in a jam. I think the jams off the top of my head are priced at £5.75. If you buy 3, there's 10% off and not have to pay any additional postage. So it has made a difference. In particularly to Europe, the postage prices now are significantly cheaper. They start at £10.99 for 1 kilo. and they're amalgamated as well, and they're separated out per kilo and then per 5 kilo. So it has made things significantly better. We have seen a pickup in the orders and a mix of products, which is great.
And of course, more orders from Europe.
More orders from Europe, yeah, and also El Grifo wines. That was something that I didn't even have on my list, but very important, and they've been selling well. The orange wine that you just mentioned. We've got a special wine from El Grifo, which is their 250 anniversary wine. They're 250 years old this year. There's only 10. Well, they're one of the 10 oldest wineries in the whole of Spain.
Yeah.
Same family for 5 generations, so lots of history there. And that is a Malvasia lease-aged wine from 2018. We have one from. We only sent across 30 bottles of that, a limited edition. We've got some lease-aged wine from 2023, and we also sent the rosé back in stock.
And the new vintage of Ariana.
And the new vintage of Ariana as well. So we got 7 wines now from El Grifo, which is good news. Another question.
What are the key points you would like the consumer to know or understand about the wines from Lanzarote?
I think
that maybe we covered that before. That I think what is important to point out when they complain that the price of the wines of Lanzarote is too high is just that people do not consider all the work that there is behind a bottle of wine in general in the world, but especially here in Lanzarote. So the final price is mostly related, as we mentioned before, this vintage is going to be very problematic and a little quantity produced, so probably next year wine is going to be even more expensive. And sometimes if you consider that some winery buy grapes from smaller growers on the island, this year the price of the grapes was €4.
€4 a kilo.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's very high price. So this is something that I think customers should be aware.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that's got to be mentioned with the wines from Lanzarote is the cultivation. You need to show pictures, show video of the terrain that we've got here. It is globally unique, really hard work. It's 30 degrees outside here at the moment. The guys are harvesting in the heat on the side of volcanoes. We have very, very low yield as well. Per hectare in an average year, you've got about 1,000 to 1,500 kilos of grapes. I mean, if you're in Champagne, you've got more like 5,000 to 7,000 kilos, or in a typical vineyard in Europe. So, and everything here is done manually in small baskets. There's lots of information.
Just mechanization.
Sorry?
There's no chance
Absolutely
to
not.
Mechanization at all.
Yeah, so you do want to have a look on our website. There's some really nice blogs and also information in the Lanzarote section. And of course, if you need anything else, any other info, just send us through an email. We'd love to hear about your tasting. And actually, on tastings, Sinead's doing a tasting in Dublin on the 26th of September at 6:30. All the information you'll find on the Instagram. On our blog section, you can book it on Eventbrite, but you can also send us an email and we'll get you booked in without the booking fee. So there you go. And there's 5 wines.
5 wines.
Jorge's wines from Bodega Olivina.
Yeah.
We've got a wine from El Grifo, from Rubicon.
And from
Bermejo. We've got the sparkling Brut Rosado.
Yeah.
Which actually won an award, didn't it, with Tim Adkin.
Someone said it's going to be a Sinead tasting.
Have fun. what else can we talk about? Yeah, the wine tours. I know many of you will have been on a wine tour. The tours have been running over 8 years now, and we are doing some slightly new tours. We have one that goes to Jorge's winery, actually, in the north of Lanzarote. That's every Wednesday afternoon. And then we do a food and wine pairing with Celso Wines from Maria at the Michelin recommended restaurant Takande. So that's every Wednesday afternoon. And then we have the wine experience with Anita. And Anita's running that on a Monday morning. That visits Bermejo. And we focus on 5 different wines. It's a tasting, but it's in more depth. We obviously visit the winery, and it focuses on wines and styles that are lesser well known from the island. So like the Diego and the barrel fermented Diego that we were just talking about moments before. And then we go to one of the smaller wineries as well. So as we were just touching on, there's been a massive shift over the last years. In 2017, when we started the tours, there were 14 wineries. We are now at north of 40 wineries on the island. Many of those are small family producers producing wines that are really different from one another, different styles, different beliefs. Yeah, that tour is designed to tell the story of the changing industry here. And Dan is also running a beer tasting, isn't he? Every Tuesday you'll find Dan in either, in Puerto del Carmen, Menio or the Upper Deck. They're both slightly different beer tastings. €20. You can sign up on the website, and Dan's our certified brewer, and he'll give you all the ins and outs of Lanzarote beer. Oh, that's great to hear, Nadine. Yeah, we'd love to see you on the tour, Super Club Radio. Is there any other questions out there? Something that we've missed? Is anybody due to come to Lanzarote? Anything on YouTube? That's the first YouTube that we've done. We've got a few people watching. No questions. So yeah.
Had some gorgeous beers in Lanzarote this summer.
Yeah, no, I mean the 3 breweries on the island now, and it's a booming business, really, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when the temperatures are too high.
Yeah.
On Calima days for wine, is like beer is always a good
option, isn't it?
Yeah, good option.
So I think we might leave it at that.
Not a visit this year.
Oh, good to hear. Well, if there's no other questions, I think we'll leave it at that. What's the temperature like in summer? Is it too hot for the grapes? Well, it's challenging for the grapes, isn't it? And I think it's not just the temperature; it's the change in weather that we see in the summer. Like, was it last week? We had rain, didn't we? There was rain in the air, and 2 weeks ago.
It's just that normally it's not a big issue because the harvest is very early. In fact, Lanzarote is the earliest harvest of the northern hemisphere. So the good thing about Lanzarote is true that during the day it's quite warm, but even not that much, even if things changing with the climate change. So we are experiencing higher temperature compared to a few years back. But there is a shift in temperature during the night. So the temperature, especially in the area of La Jeria or in the north of the island, the temperatures are dropping during the night. So this helped the ripening process to slow down and the grape to retain acidity. The problem this year was mostly related to these warm autumns and winter that we had, which was followed by a lot of rain, which was unusual for that time of the year. So also these disrupted flowering a little bit, and also resulted in, as we mentioned before, in poor budding of the vines. This is one of the main reasons the vintage was very bad. But actually, when we have the perfect condition, which means rain at the right time of the year and not too much episodes of heat waves or kalima, actually is the perfect place to grow grapes, even if people might think the opposite.
Yeah, we're lucky to have those cold temperatures and the cooler marine
exactly.
winds, because most of the time with hot regions you expect sort of more jammy wines. But thanks to our Alisios winds, we do manage to retain plenty of acidity in the grapes.
Yeah, I see that Sinead said that one of the wine that she tasted in the 2025 was Combrillo Azul. I agree with you. I'm a big fan. Like, if we go back to the natural wine or low intervention, smaller wineries, I'm a huge fan of Combrillo. They are like family to me, so I agree. I'm not sure which vintage you tasted. I think it was a 2023 or...
It was a 2021.
2021.
I believe,
that was amazing. The one you harvest, sorry if I missed the info earlier. Well, in the past, the harvest used to be in August, but now things are changing. So last year they were harvesting, I think, the 10th of July.
I think it was the 4th of July.
The 4th.
Yeah, I just needed to refresh how many kilos was collected last year.
Yeah,
starting on the 4th.
This year they started actually a little bit later due to the rain that we had that was not expected, and so they started at the end of July, now beginning of August. But normally is mid-July on average.
Yeah. Which is you said that the first in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
We usually have the first bottle of wine released in September, early September.
There was a wait a little bit longer in November.
Yeah, well, it's a bit different now, isn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, it was insane.
Well, Sinead, I almost spilt the beans on that, and I thought I might get into trouble, so I didn't mention anything about you not being a big natural wine fan. Or it wouldn't be at the top of your list, shall we say. So when you sent me that message, I remember it well a couple of months ago, I was like, wow. And I have to say, I opened a bottle at my brother's house when I was back there in May, which had been in the cupboard for I think a year earlier, and it was delicious.
Well, Sinead, next time that you come to Lanzarote, you have to drink with me. And I have plenty of natural wine.
There you go, Sinead. Get yourself on a plane.
I actually have also the 2020 vintage of Combrillo still at home.
The 2020?
2020.
Really? 2020, wow.
I was converted.
Oh, there you go. The words got out, Sinead.
I had a big fun. It was perfect.
And I guess the interesting thing with those smaller wineries is that we've sort of indirectly mentioned it, is that the wines do change
a lot
from vintage to vintage.
Yeah.
And that might be to do with the grapes themselves, or it might be what the winemaker wants to do as well. Obviously, the production's a lot lower, so it's not in those same sort of commercial demands as maybe some of the big wineries. And some of these references have maybe 300 or 600 bottles produced. This rosé we're drinking here, incidentally, is numbered. There's only 3,000 bottles of. This one's 193 out of 3,000.
There is another question. What is the president of the deal like? He's a very young but making great wine. He's having a younger president, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. I think it brings energy. I think actually looking around the whole wine industry on the island, it's pretty young now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's younger than me.
He's definitely younger than me. See,
Well,
30,
I think
29 or 30.
no, I think he's 30 something.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. But I'm not sure he's younger than me. And I honestly think it's a good thing because he has a fresh view, especially in this is a small island, and even if it's a good thing that is deeply rooted into tradition, sometimes some innovation is actually needed.
Yeah.
So I think he can provide this new view in the industry here in Lanzarote.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a good thing.
He's working with his family as well, so the traditions
Meet innovation.
And you could say the similar things as well. I mean, the great thing about this whole new boom in the wine world of Lanzarote is that it is driven by young locals.
Winemakers, yeah.
It's not winemakers that are trying to wing it, that have just come back and tried to make some money, but these guys have been producing wine in their families for forever. Their parents did it, their grandparents, and they've gone away, they have studied, and then either come back specifically to work in wine, or maybe like Amor, where Amor had a career before. She returned to the island just after the pandemic, after training in wine and working in pharmaceuticals, and then came back and is working in wine and with her father as well. So it's definitely something where innovation meets tradition.
Yeah. And in the case of Jorge, he was the previous winemaker of El Grifo, so he has plenty of experience as well. So he changed his style completely since he opened his own, since he started his own business. But yeah, young winemaker, great wines.
Is that rosé in general, Nadine, or have you tasted Jorge's rosé that we've got here? If you haven't, then next month you will have a taster with Sinead. One little idea, actually, that I forgot to mention that we're thinking of doing, and it's very much using Ali's skill as well.
The subscription.
The subscription. What we're planning on doing is, because it's difficult, in all honesty, to send some of these smaller wines back to the UK because they are more expensive, and then they just sit on a shelf in the cellar, in the warehouse.
People don't know.
And people don't know about them as well, is that we're thinking to do a subscription service, and it's completely up in the air at the moment. We would like to have it in place by the end of the year, but it would be to maybe do 2 wines or 3 wines a quarter or every 6 months. And we would have limited places available on the subscription scheme. And then we would search not just in Lanzarote, but also in the other Canary Islands, to bring a wine that we love and is very different to the rest of the wines on the shop. We would also send out a information pack about those wines, or do something like we're doing now, where we can give you all of the information about the story, the winemaker, and the process of producing the wine. So that was something we wanted to float with you, and to see whether there was any interest in that idea.
Nadine says the subscription service sounds amazing.
Cool.
There is another question. Are vines planted all over the island, or are there specific areas, side exposure, that fare better? Well, vines cannot be planted all around the island because 1/3 has been covered by lava, literally, during the most important volcanic eruption of 1730. So the main cultivations are found in the center, basically, of the island, which is known as La Jeria. But there are also some cultivation in the north, for instance, where the Olivina winery is located in the north of the island, is close to Aria. and also in the area of Tinaco, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. The vines here aren't watered by manual irrigation, so it is a complete miracle that wine is produced here, and it's only produced because of the volcanic ash. So essentially, volcanic ash has to be on the ground to retain the water in the soil, which is its purpose. And that is in Leheria, close to the volcanic eruptions of the 1730s, and also in the north of the island. There are a few wineries watering, but the wines that we stock are all wines that aren't irrigated.
Yeah. Could you buy a subscription as a gift for someone? Absolutely.
For sure.
I wish I could receive a gift like that.
But we were talking about that 2 weeks ago, because I don't know if you guys are aware, Tim Adkin was on the island twice this year. Tim is one of the most famous masters of wines in the world, and particularly in the UK. Really nice guy, really open to talk to, and he spent in the space of 7 or 10 days. I think he tasted 500 wines from across the Canary Islands, and on the back of that, he's released a Canary Island report, which you can actually download from his website for £10. Many of the wines on the shop feature, and when the report was officially released, there was a big tasting with many of the award winners. I think there was probably 40 or 50.
Around 40.
Yeah, around 40 wineries there from all across the Canaries. Susanna from Sede Vinoteca in Playa Honda did an amazing job putting it all together. Big thank you to her. And she has a lovely wine bar, incidentally, in the main street in Playa Honda. If you're on the island, do visit. And that got us thinking, because we tasted some fascinating wines there. And after that, we were talking about a subscription, and then we said it'd be a perfect gift. But do you do it before Christmas? And is the subscription voucher the gift, or is the wine the gift? I think it's got to be the wine, hasn't it, really? But hopefully we can get it in place before Christmas.
Yeah, hopefully. Very nice bread.
Yeah, Tim is amazing. I mean, for me, I've met 2 or 3 masters of wines, and what really stands out is just how open they are to talk to.
Simple.
Absolutely.
Humble.
Yeah, exactly. People think, I mean, I remember getting into the wine world and being really quite intimidated. And the masters of the wine, they've tasted there's only 450 in the world or something, and they're just the most approachable people and put wine to your level. Yeah,
it doesn't make you feel less.
No, absolutely. And they're always learning as well, I guess, as Tim was saying. Coming to, and every year is different. There's always something new with wine.
Yeah, definitely.
So, one more thing. If anybody, as a little thank you, not just for tuning in and listening to us tonight, but also thanks so much for the support with the shop, because obviously if people weren't buying, we wouldn't be able to commit to it and have these exciting plans for the future. But there is a discount code which is valid for today, and it's just Harvest. So if you put that in at checkout, there will be 10% off your order.
Did you set it up?
I did set it up. I checked just before. Yeah, so it is, I can assure you, it's up and running. And if it isn't, send us an email, but there it is. So thanks a lot, everyone. Hopefully we can do some more of these, maybe with some new wines, or every time we get a new order or new product range into the shop, we can touch base with you. It's always more engaging to talk like this with a glass of wine than spend an hour writing an email.
Yeah, and also if there is something that you want to see on social media or to read about in the blog, please let us know.
Yeah, and anything that you want to see on the shop as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, anything from the islands. It doesn't have to be wine either.
Yeah, Sinead is off to drink some Lanzarote wine.
Oh, good on you, Sinead. You never let us down. Okay. All right. Well, have a good evening, everybody. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers.
See you.
Salute. Right, we got to see whether we can switch this off and save it now. It changes every time. End stream.